Hello and welcome to NAT's Market Snapshot. Today we're going to focus in on the Aussie yen, and in particular we're going to have a look at trying to choose which time frame is the most important to you, which trend also is the most important to you. Now, with the trend being your friend, it is ever so important to choose the right time frame to ensure your trend trading in the direction of the trend that's important to you. But that can be tricky, and Aussie yen here is a prime example of this. On the weekly chart here, the longer term view, we're seeing higher highs and higher lows. That has come having transitioned from this lovely downtrend. We've now seen a move through the 200 period moving average, a close above. This market has pulled back to key support, the 200 period moving average, and the 61 Fibonacci retracement, and has given us some clear piercing pattern here, suggesting potential upside here for the Aussie. As we come down to the intraday time frames, we see a totally different picture. We've got a double top, lower highs and lower lows. We've seen a nice four-touch trend line established. We've seen Fibonacci retracements on the way down with another just above. We have the monthly pivot point and the 50 period moving average, all of which is going to bring in some resistance in and around that 79.90 region. Now, those intraday traders may see this as a nice clear downtrend and therefore want to be short and potentially run the risk here of coming unstuck as some of those longer term investment and hold longer positions start to buy into this market on the expectation that we see a move back up towards these highs at the 8,500 region. Now, being clear on which trend is important to you is absolutely vital to try and keep ourselves out of position. My advice to everyone, even those trading on the shorter time frames, would be to keep an eye on these longer term charts also for key potential turning points and areas in which you may wish to try and stay away from the long positions or short positions which contradict that major trend. In this instance here, certainly as we are on the retracement move back down towards this moving average, the support and those 61 fibs, we'd be more than happy to take these intraday short positions. Once we find ourselves down towards this support level where we expect to see buying pressure come in, that may be the time to hold off on your short positions intraday and wait for some more clear evidence that perhaps we could see a transition back into an uptrend for intraday moves. But waiting for that trend confirmation is absolutely key. Going to be really interesting to see how we move as we come up towards this key resistance here. Fundamentally right now, Aussie yen looks strong. Indice markets showing some weakness towards the start of the week with that ever-present threat of Evergrande potentially looking to default on their debts. We've got Fed potentially tapering coming through the week. We've now got the PBOC with a delayed interest rate decision not coming out till Wednesday. Are we going to see a bailout from the Chinese government? We've also got the economic agenda from Joe Biden of $4 trillion waiting to see if that's approved. And just for good measure on top of this, impacting the Aussie dollar, is now the submarine deal which has been done with the UK and the US, removing France from that deal and throwing disputes up now between the EU and Australia and their trade deals. Huge fundamentals in play here which will certainly have an impact. Weakness and continuation of the risk off mood would see this downtrend continue, with the safe haven of the Japanese yen strengthening and the risk currency, the commodity currency of the Aussie weakening. However, before we dive into this, we've got to be aware of this longer term trend, and this weekly here certainly for now remains bullish. Okay, as always, we'll wait for confirmation, we'll wait for clear evidence that this trend is going to reverse at resistance, or we'll wait for a break through this trend line for continuation of this longer term trend. For yourselves, if you haven't thought about which trend is most important to you, what is your major trend and which direction do you want to be trading, certainly a question to ask yourself. Clarifying that will massively aid and improve your trading performance.